Hello, this is a gold one Winston VOD review, mainly Winston, and the post on this one says they just wanted help with the defense, because after that they turned the game around, but the defense was just rough. And they can see you from here, so they just wanted to come out on Bastion Maga anyway, but they could have seen you and swapped to it.
4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers
And we just wide peek them 2 times and take a ton of damage, obviously play closer to the corner. When you see the Reaper coming up, what you can do is kind of come here where your Mizuki is and drop the bubble here, so the left side of your bubble ends up basically being here, and then you can just sort of bubble dance the Reaper and force him out that way. Because you're not going to just jump into these guys, so you might as well just use the bubble to hold the important part of the map. But we got a bad one forced. Honestly, they could kind of run in on that. You squish the Kiriko, and as soon as you get the Elim, you probably just jump out. I think you fell by accident, but jumping out is the shorter cooldown. We might have just panicked a bit. Now we gotta look to go back in. Moggy used his leap, so we can come back up here if we want. We spot the Reaper. That works too. And we waste his time. This is all fine. And this is a great jump because their tank's sort of committed this way. So now there's the spacing where you can kind of go for the supports. So this was a great jump. And Maga comes for you anyway, but he had to run across the street for 3 seconds, so our jump is basically off cooldown already, so. What happens afterwards is the problem. So we're gonna come into this Maga who I think was reloading, so we get even more time. But Winston is just, I know you're playing a lot of heroes, but you gotta remember, he has the spikes of value. You go in, you get an Elim, you waste the Maga's time and the other support's time, and then you get out. And then from there, what we should do is just hold this corner with the health pack. Maybe we see the Bastion and zap him, or we jump up here, or we jump up here. And then when our jump comes off cooldown, then the barrier will be off cooldown too, because it's 5 seconds for the jump. So we're just gonna, 6 seconds is too long to be standing here trading with another tank that's does this much damage. So we just completely misread this, and we shouldn't have to wait till you hear the like gasp sound effect to get out. We should just know that this is a terrible matchup. No bubble. And so sometimes a little patience pays off. The other option is a 20-second reset, so just too dedicated to fighting there. And then we see the Reaper. Probably could have dropped the bubble a tiny bit earlier because he's gonna get our armor off before we get to the corner, but otherwise it's very good bubble dancing. And Maga, they're down 1, and Maga ran in front of your whole team, so this is fine trading with Maga with bubble, but and as soon as Cass gets that pick, I honestly might just jump in. We're up so many people. Sometimes you can get sneak a stagger pick or force a bad ult, so I would jump up to here. Sometimes attackers get too comfortable. They think they can be 2 people standing here when there's 4 people here, but that's just a small thing. Sometimes that forces some really bad ults too from them, so. when he cages, I'd probably look for a chance to just go for backline, or maybe even the Bastion, and like drop a bubble and kill him. Reaper works too, but it's honestly, unless you 100% know he's ulting, then you might still just go for their backline, but because the bubble didn't even land, but we get him. And here we saw both of these guys, so we have all the information. I think the right target's Mauga, just because he's so far ahead of like the Bastion can't even see anything. Sometimes if you think, should I run after this DPS taking an angle, you have to sort of look at it from their point of view and figure out what they can see, and the answer's nothing. If you just go for this Mauga and bubble, then at most he'll walk up and be able to shoot the bubble. Like, so the target's Mauga for that reason here. Usually it's not, but in this case it is. If he's gonna come in that deep and he's fighting your team, I would just jump him, because he's gonna just go ham. Here he gets picked. And I think we get unlucky here. We might not have seen the supports healing or heard them, but we're basically just going to instant jump on this Reaper. It's easy with the sort of wall hacks, but it's probably like just naturally, if you see high ground next to the person you want to jump, just jump to the high ground. That way, if it turns out bad, you see this, oh shit, then you just leave or back up and you're good. If you knew the supports were there, this was a bad jump, what you can do is literally walk up to him and bubble and just contest the payload, and then leave while your team comes in. That's what you can do as well. You're just keeping your leap, walking up here, using your bubble, and just stalling the payload for like 6 seconds. Just so it doesn't get near the end and you have to contest it versus a Mauga, so... This was a little too aggressive, and the post said you knew this was aggressive in a battle, but I think the mistake was made here when we just instantly flick around and jump without checking where everyone is. If we could have just gotten a little more information, the mistake was really made here. That being said, this ult isn't even that bad, because what it does is it bails you out of a bad spot, which isn't the best way to use it, but it's still a get-out-of-jail-free card. The issue is we want to justify this now by getting in a limb. So sometimes if I get an awkward primal or a bad nano, hundreds of times of trial and error have taught me that I just go, if it doesn't work in the first 2 seconds and I don't see anything, I'm just gonna leave. Because if you give up on it here, okay, there's 3 people beating me up and this Bastion's not even close to dying. If you just leave here, does it look like the end of the world? It might feel bad. I got nothing from my ult, but at the same time, they're sitting in a street, your team's coming back on the high ground, and you'll be set up here, so it's really just bailing on the ult would have been the play here. Once you got to about 600 health and saw you weren't getting a limbs, but... And we might have tried to get it. Bye. But yeah, it was too late. Now we're Sigma, which works against their team comp. The only issue is a little bit of speed would be nice, because our team's out there and we're trying to retake when the payload's kind of close, so a little bit of speed would help. If we were on something like a Diva, maybe, but...
The barrier appeared.
And we're not going to be able to really help them. This drop, though, we might have to do a little look around. Do we have enough people? And we do have 3, so you might as well go for it. I just don't like you dropping this early while you were under half health. This payload, it's farther than it looks to being capped. I don't have one of those pointers, but where you see the diamond for the payload capping, if you don't see it counting down from 5 meters with the like 4 point whatever, if you don't see that, then you have over 2 seconds to touch, even if 3 people are on it. it's gonna take 2 seconds to, once it starts counting down from 5 up at the top, 5 meters. So we should have just delayed this drop until we had full health. Maybe done a little more poking, because now we're just feeding ourselves to the wolves, which this was always going to be low percentage, but we made it even worse by going early. Yeah.
In shadow. Now, to begin again.
Good job poking out the back line there. Huge rock. A little bit of an aim fail. But if we see this is too far to go for, we might just have to turn around again and go for Maga. But good run. And then here's unlucky. Sometimes the respawners come out of nowhere, so I'm not going to sit here with wall hacks and say it's bad. But once we see this, we should actually just be barriering. It's a little late, and we push it out for some reason. We might be just out of habit trying to block the healing behind the Maga, but he's his own healing, so I don't know why we push the barrier behind him. We need to be blocking his lifesteal. And we're just kind of slow. So if we had just done that sooner, and then we say, okay, this is going poorly, and either drop the barrier immediately or start leaving, then we can suck while we're backing up to the health pack, and we've got a shot. We were just a little too overeager again. And it was a surprise that the Kiri and the Bastion were there, but we still didn't. We just tend to overpush on defense a bit. Because even there, it was a very greedy grasp. Like, I'm going to grasp and then run into you. We still didn't understand what was going on or adjust to it fast enough if we're going to grasp and then charge at them. Even that half a second of going forward kind of screwed us, so. And after that, we do stabilize, and then we win the attack and all that. But I hope those tips help you on the defense as far as sort of playing around your abilities better, giving up a little space, being more patient, and things like that. So good luck.